If you haven't seen part 1 as to how we got this far into making this handbag, then you might want to go back and watch it, but we're going to continue with part 2. This is our long strip of leather. It's about 3/4 of an inch wide, and I painted it now to match the rest of the handbag. And now I'm going to flip it over and put a bead of glue all the way down one side, and then fold it over itself like that. And I'm going to put these 2x4s on top of it to hold it tight and let it dry. If you don't have pieces of wood, you can just use books just as easily if you want to do it this way. It's not a large bead. This stuff is pretty powerful, but going down the whole length of it, I pretty much used up one of these tiny tubes. I even had to fold it over to get the excess out. And now let's see if this works. All right, I mostly like how this came out. I would have made it a whole inch or even 1.25 inches because after folding it over, it got way skinnier than I thought it would, but it's still adequate. I also had to add more glue. I had to check at different points, different parts were starting to pop up, and I had to add a tiny bit more glue, put them back down and press them some more. Definitely want to put some heavy books on this. And I still would like to tweak it a little bit, but I want to move on with the video, so I'm going to show you the rest. So what we're going to try to do now is, ooh, I just love these colors. We're going to put this guy, we're going to sandwich this in here, and that will do two things. First of all, it'll make our strap really secure. Secondly, it'll open up the whole piece a little bit so it's not completely flat, so when you go to put stuff in it, it'll already have a little bit of a more than just a two-dimensional feel. So let's see. All right, I made sure this guy wasn't twisted at all. Got him in here like this. Making sure it's still 7 inches. I'm going to make sure this is even because we keep folding it and unfolding it each time. So everything's lined up good. And now we're just going to glue all this together, put some weight on that, and let it sit. I'm going to scratch that idea. I feel like going through 4 layers of leather might be a bit much for our threading and our hole punching. I'm going to open this guy up. I think I still can, unless I glued it really good. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to open him up just for this edge right here, just to fit him in with the threading. So now you know when you go back, you don't actually have to glue it all the way down. You can leave this part open. I glued that part really well, so I'm going to just cut that off because I gave myself a little extra anyway. There we go. Okay, this time we don't have to put too much glue because the stitching is really what's going to hold it. The glue is just a little extra. So we're going to put a little bit down here. Lay this guy on. Line him up. Yeah, that lines up better. I'm glad I opened that up. Put a little bit more glue here. Fold him over top. Double check. We still got our good 7 inches. And make sure he's seen right off all the way up to the edge. And we'll do the same at the side. All right, we'll let that dry. Put a little weight. Put some books or something on top of that and let it dry for an hour or two. You can measure where you want to put the holes every so whatever, but I didn't find a measurement, whether 1/4 or 1/2 inch that I'm happy with. So I'm just going to eyeball it and just put them where I think they would look good. All right. And I like this side better. I feel like I made these too close. So I'm just going to spread them out when I actually punch the holes. The dots aren't going to be a big deal. I'm going to go with my lowest hole punch setting first. And then if that turns out to be too small, I can always go up. But you can't go backwards if you make it too big first. punch it and then wiggle it a little bit and squeeze hard to make sure it went through all the layers. And then you can double check. You want to put the dots, not too close to the edge because you don't want it to rip through, but also not so far in that you want to basically try to get it in the middle of what you can imagine is the strip in between. I have these pre-made necklace cords, so I'm going to just cut the hardware off and use these because I really like this square suede. I feel like it goes well with the colors, and you can buy this in a roll, but if you don't have this, you can literally just see if you can cut a thin layer of your leather, or you can use regular threading, like regular thread. If you double or quadruple it, make it really strong, or just buy heavy thread. Or you could try cotton cord. There's a number of different things you can use, but this is what I'm going to use. And if it isn't long enough and I run out halfway up, I'll just knot it and continue because I have a bunch of these. To get it to go through the hole, since I don't have a needle, I thought about gluing the very tip and letting it dry to just make it really hard so it'll just poke. But first I'm going to try getting a piece of wire and just wrapping it around, seeing if that will work. So I made the tiniest little knot on the end here, and then I just put a tiny dollop of super glue in there, squeeze the excess off, and let's give this a shot. So I'm twisting it because it's pretty tight fit at the moment, but let's see, it's coming through. Boom. Now we'll just come around and do the next one. Let's see if we can get this all the way down. Oh yeah. Okay, you knot it to start, and each time you knot it, put a tiny drop of crazy glue in there. And then you can cut the end. You knot it to another piece when you run out, and put crazy glue in, then cut the two ends, and then just keep pulling it tight, it'll be fine. And then you knot it in the very end, and just make your threading fairly tight, your knots pressed up tight against your piece, and put the little bit of dollop of crazy glue in there. Squeeze it with a piece of plastic or napkin. Plastic actually works the best, because napkin or paper towel could kind of stick to it. And then cut off the end, and that's it. You're good. Now this tiniest hole was a little bit of a struggle. I had to really twist it, and I'm not sure how much got on camera because it was paused and then unpaused, but basically I took a little piece of 20 gauge wire and I wrapped it around the tip of my suede square piece, and then I put a little bit of crazy glue just to hold it tight, and that worked great as a needle. But I think I'm going to go to the next larger size hole from the smallest, because the smallest one was a bit too small. And I started with these dots and then I totally ignored them. I started punching the holes further up than the dots. You can kind of see it, but if you're not looking for them, you're not even going to notice. It blends right into the material. So I'm probably going to do the same on this side. These dots are too close together. So you can play around with how close you want your stitching. It's just a matter of taste, really. As long as you get a good stitch in every half inch or so, this thing is going to be strong. So once again, I ignored the dots I made because they were too close together, and it looks like half inch is the interval that really works. So half inch, or if you're in metric world, 1 centimeter. Centimeter apart. Pretty simple, right? Let's do this other side. Bam! Handbag. Now, this is fine, but these straps are kind of getting in the way a little bit for me, so I'm just going to cut this a little bit more so this can get over the straps a little more easily. I started cutting these little divots so it could get over strap there, but I kind of don't like that. I'm just going to cut it. Just cut it. Make a little extra cut, a little thinner all the way down. There we go. I soaked this little deer antler in coffee for just a couple minutes, and it darkened it up quite a bit. So I'm happy with that. I'm also going to rub it with a little bit of this Feed and Wax wood polish conditioner. It has beeswax and orange oil in it, and it's made for sealing and bringing out the natural shine in wood, and I think it'll work good on the deer antler too. It smells really good too. It smells like oranges. Now let's see about getting this lined up right. Let's see, we'd want it about like that. Just gotta muscle that hole punch all the way in there. It's not made to go across fabric that far. And you just got to tie two tight little knots back there and throw some more crazy glue in there. Oh wait, no, let's knot them around each other. That's even smarter and easier. Can you see in there? Do a double knot just to be safe. And we'll hold that open for a second. Make sure no glue glues the two sides together. Right, now, let's see. Bam. Bam. Where's that little baby coming through? Now, you don't want to make your hole too big or too small, obviously. Too big, the button will keep popping out. Too small, you'll be struggling to get it in and you'll hurt the purse. I'm going to try something. I can feel it right there. I think I'm going to try doing like an H cut like this. And then folding the two flaps back underneath and gluing them to make the whole area stronger. So from wear and tear, it won't start to stretch and rip the leather, which it probably won't, but this will give it extra little strength. I'm going to make a whole bunch of little holes just to get the scissors in there. All right, let's see if this works. First, let's simulate it. So if we fold this back, got that nice hole there. Then how hard is it to get the antler through? Yeah, not that hard. And that looks cool. And that's the important part, is it looks cool. All right, let's do this. Let's glue these flaps back. Read me. Ooh, it's staying pretty good. I put a ton of glue. Wanted to, whoops. All right, let's try this one. That one does not want to stay. There we go. This stuff dries really quick when you have it thin and you press hard. All right. Oh. Okay, that hole's too big. Oh, trial and error. Can't undo those. I'm going to have to glue some strips across there. Yeah, it's a cool idea, but it's a little bit too big. Now here I thought I was going to make it too small. It really only shows, it really only looks kind of silly at the top there, so I'm just going to put one big strip across the top, and that should be good. Just get a little of that color to match the rest of it. There, like a little band-aid. Ah, good. Now it's not too hard or too easy.